Okay, so this guy wanted to test out one of his new teams on me and challenge me to a battle, and it actually turned out to be pretty much the shortest Wi-Fi battle I've ever had. So not sure if you looked at team preview over there, but basically he doesn't have any good switch-ins to strong water type attacks. His only water resist is Starmie, and of course that's really frail. So I'm going to lead off with Rotom, probably the most threatening Pokemon for him. And he leads with a Gengar. I don't really want to be taking a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to switch into Scizor to take that. I'm running max HP, so I'm going to be able to survive that really well, especially since it's not very effective anyway. And I want to scout for HP Fire because that's definitely going to KO me if he has it. So I'm going to switch to Tyranitar. If he has it, he's going to use it now. And if he doesn't, he's going to be switching to Heatran. So either way, it's going to turn out well for me. Anyway, he does have HP Fire, so I'm really glad that I switched out of Scizor. And I'm going to make a risky move here. My team doesn't really deal well with HP Fire Gengar, so I'm going to risk the Focus Blast and crunch him. He actually turns out to have Destiny Bond though, so that's going to be bad for me because it means Tyranitar dies without me getting Rocks up. But the good thing is I do get rid of Gengar, and that's probably one of the biggest threats to my team. So although I did have to sack Tyranitar to get rid of it, I'm pretty glad that I don't have to deal with Gengar anymore. So Tyranitar is going to die, he's going to send out his Heatran, and I'm going to go back into Rotom because of how threatening it is to his team. And he actually goes for a Sucker Punch here, and I was like, oh wait, Heatran can learn Sucker Punch? But then I remember that he actually was running a Zoroark on his team, so I just went for that Hydro Pump. I guess Zoroark isn't that bulky anyway because that ended up KOing. Zoroark is kind of a weird Pokemon to play against just because of his transforming ability, but it hasn't really been that threatening for me to deal with on most of the teams. So now he's going to go into Scizor. I actually am running HP Fire on my Rotom, so that was kind of a careless play on his part. Then again, he might have been kind of new, so I guess you can't really blame him that much. And that's going to KO, of course. I'm running a Modest Nature and enough speed to outspeed just about every Scizor set, so that's a pretty good move for me. And he's going to go into Starmie now. I don't really want to take either a Thunderbolt or a Psychic because both will do a lot if it's Life Orb. So I'm going to switch into Celebi now on the Psychic. And I actually switched it up so I'm running a lot more bulk than I used to. If you saw my Mosh Pit video, I was running a timid 4 HP Celebi. But this one has nearly max HP and a Modest Nature for extra power. And he's going to go into Heatran now. I predicted that, so I'm going to go back into Terrakion. Well, actually Terrakion for the first time. It was a double switch. And I just didn't want Celebi to be faced up against a Heatran because I have nothing to take him out with. So I double switched to Terrakion and just get off that close combat. I'm a little bit surprised that he stayed in actually because he has a Landorus, which is a pretty good Terrakion switch in. But for some reason he doesn't switch that in. And I'm running a Choice Scarf Terrakion, so I'm locked into close combat. And he goes into his Starmie, which means I'm going to be forced to switch out. I went to Scizor because I thought he might predict the Celebi switch in and go for Ice Beam, but instead he goes for the obvious Hydro Pump instead, which does a lot more damage than Ice Beam would have done, but Scizor still manages to survive. And I want to keep it for later in the game, so I'm going to go back into Celebi. I wasn't sure at this point if he was actually running Ice Beam or not, but since I did run that extra bulk like I mentioned before on this set, I'm going to be able to survive. Plus I'm running Giga Drain, so when I kill him, I'll be able to recover a pretty decent amount of health as well. So he is going to reveal Ice Beam at this point, which means he's running a 4 attacks Starmie, so no Rapid Spin or Recover here. And I'm just going to get off that Giga Drain, and that'll KO his Starmie, and recover me pretty much to decent health. It's not that high, but it's an okay amount, I guess. So he's going to send in his Landorus now, actually. I initially thought it might be Choice Scarf with U-Turn, but the most common Landorus set is actually Rock Polish, and I know I can survive 1 attack because of my HP investment, so I'm just going to get off 1 Psychic, which is going to do a pretty decent amount of damage. And he is actually not running HP Ice, or else Gliscor wouldn't have been nearly as good of a switch in. And I'm going to send that out, and he's actually going to Rage Quit now, so yeah, GG.